Hello, my loves. I'm Eddie Frost. I'm a mentor and strategist for visionary leaders who want to scale their business, expand their impact, work at peak performance, do revolutionary things that change the world. And I heard this today. Brian Scott said it on Instagram. Hi, Jennifer, which I thought was so spot on. I'm not sure if this quote is from him or it comes from somewhere else, but he said, wealth is the realization that you have an abundance of resources available to you now, right? I spend my life with my clients changing their reality. People come into my world. I've got clients right now having their biggest months, like huge months in December, that have only just signed on a month ago. Why? Because the consciousness changes. Hello, gorgeous. And I love this quote. Have you ever heard this? I thought it was put so beautifully. Wealth is the realization that you have an abundance of resources available to you now, right? It's not your bank account. It's not your mistakes. It's not what you think you can earn. Because this shift is so interesting to me. What I do with people and what happens when you come into my world is you don't think the same way, which means that you have the $1 million ideas. You know, I just said to my client this morning, you're on track for $1 million year. Well, she wasn't, when I first started working with her a month ago, right? And that's in reality, in the sales she signed this month is now on track for $1 million year, right? Because we changed everything, and energetically, I hold my clients first energetically. They want to skip steps. We don't do that. The consciousness embodied, the certainty means, right? If I've got definite energy that I'm $1 million brand, I'm now available for the universe to deliver the $1 million ideas. But if I'm stuck in my lack, or if I'm stuck in an income bracket, I can't access those ideas. When it says wealth is the realization that you have an abundance of resources available to you now. Resources doesn't mean the money in your bank account. In fact, the currency of the universe is ideas, right? If you can have the right ideas to contact the right people, to get around the right mindset, to see things differently, then all of a sudden it's a no-brainer. The byproduct is the abundance, right? The byproduct is the loving relationships, the byproduct of embodying a different level of consciousness. But you can't do that when you're ingrained in your reality. I was saying to another client this morning, because we're all waiting on things, and I teach our time is now, not just because we're going through, and we have been for 3 years, an amazing awakening on the planet, which means the universe is supporting our evolution in such a strong way, but because the now moment is where the entire world around you changes. Not when your money changes. That's the byproduct of you becoming someone else. Not when, the relationship starts or ends. Not when something happens. Not when you lose the weight. Not when you have the idea. When you become the person that is just an extension of, right? Then those things have to flood to you. And in fact, your nervous system doesn't have to be regulated there because it's already an alignment, right? We only get kind of the trauma response and the nerve, like I call it the whiplash. It feels like a car crash where I'm pushing myself above my energetic calibration at such a level, that I'm having a dysregulation of my body, my nervous system when I hit a goal, because it's not a natural extension of me. When we are embodied, it's as natural as breathing to receive the money you want. In fact, the clients I have at the moment, the lovely conversations I'm having is when they're doing much bigger deals, much bigger money, and it's a no-brainer to the people. Why? Because we lined up the energy. When I've got negotiated for huge household brands, I'm talking hundreds of millions of dollar deals, I knew how to be a missile, right? Because I wasn't bullshitting. I wasn't doing the game of like, I'm going to pretend that these are my terms or for the brand I was representing. I was absolutely definite, and they could feel energetically that I was being fair, but I wasn't playing, right? So I got these huge deals in for all my clients, which I have done. I don't really represent people in that way at the moment, although I do bespoke projects for certain people. But it's because the energy was there, right? People knew that was the deal. It wasn't a game. I wasn't testing the water. And again, so many of us are testing the universe, or we'll only accept with the person when I get the money. But if you don't believe you're the millionaire now, you won't receive the $1 million idea. So we do everything, not everything, but we do a lot of things kind of the wrong way round. When actually, when we energetically align, and the good news is your soul wants to take you there. You don't have desires by accident. The universe is not a torture chamber. It's not like, oh, you're going to get these desires in your heart, but they are not what's for you. You just get to dream about them and be tortured. They are exactly what's meant for you. But we hang on. I made a post this morning and said, like, if we don't move, right, so many of us are doing things in personal development, yeah, which is amazing. I love it. I've done it for 20 years. I've worked with some of the biggest leaders on the planet. It is worth every penny. Whatever rubbish goes around the internet, there is no one I've ever met, and I've been around Richard Branson, who's what, billionaire, another Russian billionaire that I worked with. I'm only saying that because it's giving you a context. Many multi-millionaires. I'm not talking a few million. I'm talking hundreds of millions, like big brands, right? There's no one on the planet that doesn't invest in their personal development that's very successful in some way or another, right? So are there like pros and cons of every single thing we do? Yes. Is there people who are going to be better for you than others? Sure, right? But like thinking for a minute that not investing in our personal growth is the way to evolution is kind of weird to me. Like, there is stuff you don't know, otherwise you do it. If you knew how to access that level of consciousness now, you do it. If you want something better and you're not getting there, you need some help somewhere. And the thing is, this is an abundant universe, which means that it will be on your doorstep. It will be available to you. Could be the coach you want to work with, could be the trip you want to take. The things you need are around you. But until you accept that you're committed to your growth, get out of any rubbish that people are trying to tell you about not choosing personal development, choosing your growth. It is the way to success, because guess what? There are ways that people do things and think about things that are different to how you do them now. The only way is to expand your consciousness. If your whole history has been, I don't know, abusive relationships or lack cycles of money, you don't know how to think differently by yourself. Can you get there? Sure, possibly, maybe, I don't know, right? But it's much faster if you work with someone who can hold you there, right? Energetically. So like, if that's your quest, then choose it, and choose something that's going to elevate you, expand you, rather than contract you. So many of us, we do this in relationships all the time. Don't you think? Like, we know a certain friend always makes us feel negative. So maybe we complain about our relationship or something in our lives, and we know what they're going to say, and it never takes us forwards. What do? They confirm our reality. Why do we stay stuck? Because we stick with things that confirm our reality rather than radically grow. But your soul wants to grow. Your soul does not understand the limits, you see. The human is the one that is judging and trying to measure things, and the soul is completely limitless. If we fight our soul, so the post I made today was about tower moments in that. So many of us are using emotional intelligence and personal development to pacify us rather than what it's meant for. Emotional intelligence, personal development is helping you know who you are, coming into your personal power and trusting yourself. It's not meant that yes, we heal our triggers, right? So that we don't react in ways that don't serve us and don't serve others. But we're not meant to heal ourselves in terms of become non-reactive in a way that we don't listen to our intuition and what our emotions are calling us to do. Our emotions are messengers. They are so important, yeah? So many people right now are thinking that the idea of emotional intelligence is to overcome the emotions, not listen to them. Even when you're highly traumatized, I've worked with many people with PTSD and I've overcome it myself, right? Using my own unique channeled healing modality. But I'll tell you this, even an extreme emotional response is based on some truth. Maybe it's over the top in terms of not in our highest intentions and outcomes, how we do something when we're highly traumatized, sure. But the emotion is the messenger. We are not supposed to ignore our emotions. We do not need to act on them in negative ways that impact us and other people. But we are not meant to ignore the message. Anger means you've now crossed my boundary. so many of us are trying to heal ourselves by saying, I don't think I should have that boundary. Oh, it doesn't make sense. Emotions aren't logical. They are talking to you. Your human and your divine element, your soul and your human combined, speak to you through your emotions, right? They're not logical, but they're true to you. So we're not meant to use personal development tools and emotional intelligence to pacify our emotions so that we're not listening. If we do that, you'll get a tower moment, which is like things just chaos breaking out, things collapsing. If you keep saying you want more, you want to go towards your visions and stuff, because if you're not choosing your alignment, sometimes the universe will choose it for you. It doesn't have to be like that. Everything you need is around you. You can't see it. It's like being in the dark without those glasses that light things up until you raise your consciousness. We are kidding ourselves. If you have any whens in your life, right? I've taught people for the last 10 years, success is a now decision, not a when, which means that if you have any concept of I'll be successful when, you've got to lose those ideas. They are all not true things. Success starts on a trajectory, on a momentum, the minute you align with it. You've got to get out of the way of your own bullshit. You'll also need to radically change the way you spend your resources. Resources being time, attention, and money. Yeah? So many of us are so, even with healing, if you're a codependent, for example, most of us are so concentrated on fixing ourselves rather than setting boundaries. So we'll say, well, I am healing, I'm healing, while we stay in a situation that we need to get the fuck out of because it's not for us, yeah? So I'm just healing my emotions. I'm not taking the initiative because I'm scared. You've got to put your time, attention and money in other places. They will feel like a stretch. Why? Because your soul isn't wanting to keep you stuck. We're not supposed to be stuck. In fact, there's no concept of stuck. Hello, my love. I'm talking about all sorts of things. It started with a quote about wealth being the realization that you have the abundance of resources available to you now, which I think is so spot on. Then I was talking about people coming into my world right now, December being everyone's biggest month, like ridiculously brilliant things happening so quickly with people. Why? Because like I keep saying, our time is now. If you can embody and change now, everything around you that you want is a byproduct of that change. But if you use success is a now decision, remember this, success is a now decision. I've taught it for 10 years, not a when. If you say when the money comes in, when I get the next client, when, oh my God, if my clients had said for a minute, December, well, we'll just slow down for the holidays and we'll rev up again in January. I'm talking about serious money, like hundreds of thousands of dollars would not have been made, right? Because we do fluidity. We don't wind down for shit. We do jobs we love. Our work energizes us. When we're visionaries that are aligned, it gives us fuel. It actually heals us, right? From the inside out. So, my goodness me, any whens you've got in your life, is so ridiculous. The minute you step into your alignment now, in the now moment, hold it in the now moment, everything you want is a byproduct of that. I see that I'm here for a reason. That stuck season. Oh my gosh, we've got so many excuses on. Say anything you want, Julie, by the way. I'll give you anything I've got on any particular thing you want to be channeled on or any perspective that I've got on, right? But I mean, this idea of stuck, you are never stuck. All you're doing is wallowing in your own shit. You may have very good reasons to do it. Yeah, you are never stuck. You are never stuck. In fact, it's impossible in the universe we live in for you to be stuck. So if you're thinking you're stuck, I'll tell you exactly what you're doing. You are just replaying the now moment. Yeah, we either reloop the past or we keep reflecting on the now, on our kind of past, recent past. The way to get out of stuck is to align with the person you're becoming. You've got to be much more in touch with her than anything you're going through now or have been through. That is the shift. If you feel stuck, it's the alignment with the person you're becoming. You're too stuck with the woman you are or have been, right? That's who you're stuck with. You're not stuck. Your mind is stuck. Yes, you're sharing that energy right now. This is the energy of expansion and growth and fucking let's go, guys. Let's fucking go. Don't wait for the new year to become the person you are. Literally, choose your life. Choose your life. Choose a life you fucking love. Do the work you're on the planet to do. If you are getting caught up in any of the gossipy stuff on the internet right now, Be way beyond it. There is a beautiful world for you, an abundant world for you, and it starts right now. If you are stuck, you are not connected to your vision for the future, the woman you're becoming. That's all. You need to connect much more with her than who you are and who you've been. This is a very simple shift. You can do it right now, and every time you start not doing it, I want you to get connected with her, integrate with her, feel into her, the person I'm becoming. The only reason we feel stuck is because you're not connecting with the person you're becoming. I will admit I've been busy with busy. Yeah, it's a distraction. We have got so many distractions. Drama, chaos, toxic relationships, anything to stop me looking at myself. Busy, holidays, blah, 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 right? We do it all the time. But it's not fulfilling. So why not stop? We can have so many reasons to be busy, or we can choose our power, which means that the world... Like the beautiful thing I do with my clients is I teach them how to be missiles. We work in peace, we work in groundedness, we strike, we get what we want, we move, we expand in a beautiful flow. No busyness, no chaos, no distractions, absolute power, no need for force, just absolute focus, certainty, groundedness, connection. That's how we flow. Yeah, it is a beautiful way to evolve. It is not this nervous system whiplash situation of highs and lows and feast and famine and I don't know, I'm being pushed and pulled around by life and I'm distracted and not grounded. This is not the place to expand from. The reason you won't grow there and you'll stay stuck is because your soul doesn't want that shit. It feels like manic. Who wants that? I don't want that either. We can have a very high energy, yeah, but we don't need to be pushed and pulled by life. So if you're choosing to stay stuck but you get lots of busy distractions, then probably your soul doesn't want you to grow like that, yeah? You need to come into the kind of energy that I'm in, which although it's very strong, and I get it, and it's maybe seems a bit, it's high energy, but I'm a very grounded, very focused, very peaceful person, actually. Do you know what I mean? I know what I want. I know that it's coming to me. I know how to get it. And I don't let myself get pushed and pulled by life. I do not want the experience of chaos. I've had a lot of it in my life to overcome. I know how to deal with it. I coach and mentor people out of all sorts of things. And I've worked with people running huge businesses, right? So there's a lot of responsibility in that. So like, I know how to still drive a very steady ship. So if you're not growing, one, stuck, you're not connected with the person you're becoming. Two, if you're playing into distractions and drama and chaos, then your soul will want you to ground into a different way of doing it. Yeah. There's so much spaciousness in growth. I've worked with people who've worked, I've worked, at one time I was working across 16 businesses, big businesses, yeah? So that's a lot of responsibility. My battery's low, a lot of staff members, it was all over the world as well. But like, you have to become, like I say, like a missile, like you're grounded, you're in control, you have ultimate power, you're not distracted, you can't get busied out of your focus. And because you're focused, everything comes into flow. I keep talking about desires, like manifestation. It's a creative union and flow. I'm in union, like I would be with my partner, you know, like I'm in union with what I'm trying to create. There's a flow, there's a dance, there's a movement, but it's solid, right? It's not like this hectic, what do I do? Up, down, pulled around. This is not the way. This is not the way. This is not the way. That is me normally grounded and direct. Maybe I need to put my glasses on. But since I've been confusion of direction. Yeah, so isn't that interesting though, Julia, right? Don't we love this, right? So when we're confused of our direction, then the human starts being confused of direction and being pushed and pulled. What happened to that badass? You know, I feel like judging ourselves as not being a badass is difficult. So don't judge, because when we evolve, we change, yeah? Being confused of direction, I would go into that part, right? What is it about my direction that I'm scared of? Because a lot of the time when we go into distract, there's a really good reason for everything we do. Everything in our lives is a strategy. Every distraction, every negative relationship, every addiction, it actually has a positive purpose. It's serving a purpose. So I'm wanting to be distracted from what? What is it about my vision that I'm resisting? I'd look at that, Julianne, right? Because the truth is, we're serving ourselves, right? And rather than judging us and saying, well, I've changed, I'm not a badass anymore, I would say, I'm wanting to distract myself from something. Am I scared of how big this is? Am I hurt? Is there pain? Have I not achieved what I wanted to achieve? So I'm scared to really look in my heart again at this. What am I actually wanting to not look at? Because that's why we do what you're doing. There's something in your vision that you don't want to look at. There's something that maybe you've been disappointed. Maybe you haven't got the results you want. Now you don't want to play into it. You've made a decision about it. You need to go back into that and open your heart to it. Then you'll be willing to become the person, because you're resisting being the person you're becoming. Yeah. And we put distractions in the way to do that. So what is there that hurt you about your vision? That's what I'd look at, Julianne. Like, what is it that hurt me about this vision? Where did I tell myself no? What went on, right? Because there's a bit that you're closing your heart to. Yeah, you've closed your heart to it. And then we want to get busy. Why? Because our purpose isn't fueling us. When we're aligned with our vision, yeah, it's not that it has to take over our whole life, but it's fueling us and we're fueling it, and it's alive. It's this creative union, right? You know what I'm saying here. Something happened and made you step back, and now you don't want to look at it. I want to be distracted. It's all serving us, yeah? We have to fix the distraction. We have to heal the thing that we're not looking at and connecting with. That's what relieves it. People lose their addictions when they work with me, but I don't work on the addiction with them. I work on their alignment, and they don't need those strategies anymore, right? And I don't see them as wrong either. Don't see them as wrong. They're just a very good strategy for dealing often with trauma, often with, various things. They're strategies. There's nothing wrong with them. In fact, it's very predictable, kind of useful in its own right, although destructive in the long term often, but not necessarily always. Like, different things for different people. But ultimately, they're a strategy. And what happens when we have the strategies of distraction, the strategies of toxic relationships, the strategies of addictions, is that we're not truly connected to essence with our source. I am so right. Thank you, my love. Yeah, this is the truth. We're not truly connected with our source. And there's something that it's a heart connection thing, like we've been hurt. We don't want, so any of those strategies that are distractions or addictions, that kind of stuff, it's all about lack of connection. And we start that connection with ourselves. We have to repair the connection with ourselves and our own vision. Yeah, that heals our heart. So when we go into that, what do I want? What am I not wanting to look at? What can I quite connect with? Why don't I want to connect there with myself? Yeah. Once we can heal that, then it goes into our connection with everyone else, everything else, and like literally the things we want are just the byproducts of our connection with ourselves, with our vision, with the true consciousness that we're wanting to step into and own and embody. Trying to chase the things rather than our truth is where most of us go off track, yeah? I'm trying to chase money, but the ideas for the money only come when I expand my consciousness. So if you're interested in knowing more, learning more, working with me, contact me. I have so many different ways to work with people. I haven't even put them all on my website, but, well, one-on-one I have only a few ways. But there's all sorts of things coming up. And other than that, I'm sending you a ton of love. Happy, I'll probably be on here again this week. I had a cold and now I'm healed and I'm getting back to my normal self. So sending you a lot of love. Thank you so much for joining me. Speak to you soon.